Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took today inside the Discord as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So today, we got an absolute face ripper on SPY, and unfortunately, we ended up getting stopped out of this move before it actually happened. So before we even get into that, just kind of what we looked like right off open. So you can see here, the 30-minute chart was a little funky. We ended up closing below this 50 SMA. We got back above it right here and trended higher. And I've been telling you guys, I mean, the charts have been really bullish since last week. Every time frame here, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, are all crossed on the call side. And then when we also looked at like the monthly contracts, those are crossing the daily. So everything going into today was pointed higher. I mean, there was no reason to be shorting today. If you shorted, I really don't see the thesis behind that. But when it came to an entry point, this is what happened. So I ended up getting an entry on this candle right here at 10:35. I ended up going long in the Discord, and I went long on NQ at 10:35. I grabbed some, and then I averaged up some as we got this cross, and then I should have obviously held this until the 50 broke, but I was limiting my risk on this as I didn't want this to pull all the way back to the 50. And once we broke below this 10 SMA, I cut it. I was down I think like 5-10 points. Wasn't much, but yeah, realistically, you should have held this until the 50 SMA breaks. I just didn't like where we were at versus of where, like, how much we could drop. So I was down 10 points on the closure below right here. I probably could have been down 30, 40 on the pullback. As long as NQ, if it was a little bit weaker, which it wasn't, it actually kind of flipped around to where this pullback wasn't really happening on NQ. So you can't really plan for that. NQ ended up flipping a little bit stronger, and on this pullback, it didn't even end up making new lows. So that was unfortunate, but that was my plan for the trade. I said, if we break below the 10, I'm gonna get out, and that's exactly what happened. I stuck to my plan, and yes, you could have actually played this reclaim right here. We got back about 10 SMA. It's like, okay, it looks very clear that we're gonna trend higher, and there's a move out of it. You could have taken that if you ended up closing it with me when we broke the 10. But yeah, I mean, this is a super clean chart. There's absolutely zero reason to be bearish. And even though I didn't get the winner out of this, I still stuck to the plan. The bias was right. I just, I was limiting my risk on the trade because, again, at the time, NQ was pulling back in this area right here, and if it kept dumping the way it was, would have been down a lot more, like 30, 40, if that strength didn't end up coming into play. So can't really complain. I mean, from last week, I'm a little bit green, not by much though on my accounts, a couple hundred, but is what it is. As long as we limit the losers, which is what I do. I limit the losers, 10, 20 point losses, maybe 30, 40 on the bigger ends, but our winners are over 50 points, and that's kind of the trade-off, to where if you're keeping tight risk on the trade, you're gonna possibly miss out on a move, and that's what happened today. If you stuck to the 50 SMA as your stop, I averaged up on this, so I was in with more size than usual because, one, we're trending, two, I really like the setup that was going on. So yeah, that's another reason kind of why I used that 10 SMA as my trailing stop on this, but is what it is. We're gonna catch another trade this week, and we're gonna catch another good cross, hopefully. So not worried about this. After we got this move higher, after this reclaim, there's no other trades to take. These reclaims are not trades that I want to take. You'd want to see a dip to the 50 to take anything from there, but that's kind of what my thought process was going on SPY today. Like I said, when we look at these charts, man, every single time frame was super bullish. I mean, we're crossed here on the 30-minute. Every single time frame is in sync. Everything's crossed on the 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour. The daily chart doesn't even have a 50 SMA, but still 10 SMA sloped up hard. So everything was pointing higher. There was absolutely zero reason to short today. If you're shorting, I don't know what you're doing, but yeah, this is kind of how you play the all-time high in the market. This is the great thing about the system. It doesn't matter where we're at. You don't need, like, the all-time highs is completely irrelevant. A lot of people tend to struggle with trading all-time highs because there's no resistance to go off of. And again, with the system, this is the added benefit. I mean, you always know where the support is at, and then the resistance comes into play when we're at that monthly contract 50 SMA, which we're currently above. So when it comes in terms of a pullback, yeah, I mean, maybe we're not going to catch, I'm not going to be playing shorts just because everything's telling me bullish at the moment. But I don't really focus on the trend flipping, or not the flipping, like catching the exact top or bottom. I ride the meat of the move. So that's where the system comes into play. You ride the meat of the move with the system, and You know, by the time we start reversing, there's probably already extended move that's been made. Already kind of nice move up. Like on this reclaim of the 30-minute here, we end up getting back about the 50 here. Contracts went 260 all the way to 475. So yeah, really bullish on SPY. JD currently getting destroyed at the moment. We pull back to this 50 SMA here tomorrow. Very crucial day for this stock. If we hold the 50, I'm still in. If we lose the 50 tomorrow, I'm going to be exiting that. But I still like the chart. I mean, 10 SMA went above the 50. We're bouncing right at the 50 today. So, you know, we're going to see how that shapes up tomorrow. But I was up like 40% at one point, but that's not enough of a move for me to sell because you guys know. I'll go over it right here. TEM, absolutely insane move today. Told you guys about this last couple of videos. We finally got an explosion move higher, and it actually ended up reversing from being up 10% to being down 2%. So that's a wild move. The chart is still really bullish. Any pullback to this 50 is probably going to get bought up. Contracts for November were up 100% off of the open, and I trimmed a good chunk there. So, you know, whatever happens on the rest, you know, it's a light portion that I got left remaining. But again, 10 SMA went above the 50. 100% on that. SoFi is another one that continues to rip right here. I mean, when we're playing the daily charts, we're playing this for that multi-day continuation of the trend. That's exactly what this is. It's a multi-day trade, and you know, yes, you're up a lot right here on the first day. We pull back. You know, I'm not getting scared. You know, we're above the 10 to 50, and I continue to hold this day. Contracts at 215. They're up like 100% on the. I think I have the November contracts for 30 calls. So yeah, those are up nicely today. Same concept across all these. PDD is another one that I'm in. I think I'm going to end up holding this and swinging this into tomorrow because it's not a significant close below the 50. I mean, there's like a 20-cent difference of where we're at on these contracts. Actually, what is the exact price? Because I can't really tell by what it's giving me on those. But if I end up closing all the way down here at like $2, I'd probably close it. But you know, we're going to see how we look like into the close. It does look like it's going to close below today. And depending on how we open up tomorrow, it'll probably decide if I'm going to cut it or not. Yeah, Apple, I mean, I went over this yesterday. I mean, Apple got a very nice bounce, and see, multi-day continuation of the trend right here. This is exactly what the monthly contracts are for, daily time frames for. You're looking to hold this for multiple days, not just sell on the first day, and that's that. This is how you can catch a lot of big moves. Another one that I like is Hood. We're currently in. Went over this one, I believe, in yesterday's video as well, but 130 calls right here are just starting to cross. We're up about 15% right now on the ones that we grabbed. So, you know, it's just getting started in my opinion. We're going to see a lot higher on Hood based on this daily chart crossing. So, Hood, another one I really like. But, I mean, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, SoFi, PDD, TEM, Hood, JD, all these are really good setups. Even though we're in some drawdown on this, I mean, it's still a really good looking chart just because there's a red candle right here. You know, doesn't really steer me away from the trade. It's going to follow the plan. If we close below the 50, hop out. If we hold the 50, we stay in. So, simple as it gets when it comes to the swing trades. I mean, in my opinion, it's the easiest way to swing trade. All we're doing, watching the cross in the monthlies, and, you know, as long as there's not a massive gap between where price is and the 50, it's a good cross to take. You buy the 50 dips after we cross, and you know, those are your low or your high risk reward trades. You know, very minimal risk, very high reward, because a lot of the times these end up running a couple 100%. And sure, if you lose, maybe you'll lose 50-60% like one or two times when, you know, it's a drastic move below the 50, but most of the time it's not going to do that. We're going to get a little bit, you know, closure under the 50. Maybe you're down 30%, maybe you're down 20%. Like some of the one trade we took last week, it was a small loser, but yeah. And then we also took BMNR last week. I swung it. It ended up gapping down quite a bit today. Closed that for, I think, like 30% loser. But, you know, SoFi makes up for that. And we are continuing to hold Hood. We got JD. And I'm trying to think what else. TEM, I still have a little bit of. I mean, that's probably going to get stopped out maybe. We'll have to see how that daily chart ends up playing out, but the temp chart is still really bullish. But I mean, that's pretty much all I got. SPY, it was a simple day. We took the cross. I stopped out below the 10 and ended up ripping afterwards. That's completely fine. But you know, that was the only setup I was really looking for the day. And tomorrow's probably gonna be the same thing. I mean, call side is crossed on the 30-minute. So until this trend changes, any dip to this 50 is going to get bought up, and my focus is going to be on the long side until obviously the bulls lose the trend. So yeah, that's pretty much what we did today. Game plan for tomorrow. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, drop a sub if you guys want to learn. Join Discord down below. That's all I got. I'm out. Peace.